Today is March 10th, 2026. We just had a massive news rally yesterday. Lots going on in the war with Iran and oil prices. So with this massive rejection, so what am I looking for today? So starting with the index markets, the ES, if we can get a rally higher, I'm going to be a willing seller for a short-term sell above, bearing in mind that this could be a bottom heading to all-time highs, but it's not something I'm going to bank on. If, however, I was the buyer down here, I would absolutely be holding on to this just to see if it can go on to be all-time highs. But I am very aware that rallies like this happen all the time at the beginnings of bear markets. Not saying I think that this is going to turn into one, but just very aware that massive rallies like this tend to happen at the start of bear markets. So it's not something I'm banking on. So I'm not looking to just smash the sell button. But if we do go higher, then I'd be looking for a shorter term sell setup if we get a bit higher. Looking at the other index markets, I'm going to stay away from them, but I do like the prospects of the YM here, showing that it is the weakest market right now. So if I do see any sell opportunities, I'm going to favor them on the Dow today. Looking over at oil, crazy market moves. If this is not something that you have traded before this sort of volatility, just stay away. Don't try and make money in this market. It's going to be gambling for 99% traders out there. The only thing I'm looking for in oil right now is if we do get a pretty significant rally, if we come up here quick enough, I'll be looking to get a short setup off of this supply up above. However, this is a very short-term play, not something that I would expect massive moves off of. On the other side of that, this is at range here. It does make sense that we came down into here. Not something that I would have ever traded, but it absolutely makes sense that price came up into here, sold off from there. Whether or not we keep bouncing from this area, we'll just have to wait and see. But it's not something that's a high probability of enough setup for me to play, but absolutely could drive price even lower. I think a lot of that's going to rely on the news announcements for today. And just be aware that when we're seeing prices on a futures markets, it does not reflect the current prices. So if that's something you want to learn more about, definitely suggest doing some research on how futures are priced versus the current price of oil. Then we come into some of the metals. So gold here, I'm going to be staying away from it. Too unclear for me right now. I could easily make an argument for either direction. Same thing with natural gas. Makes sense where we came up to and sold off from. We've pulled back to where the fib traders will come in here and say that now's my chance to buy, whereas others might still be seeing this as an opportunity to get out. So again, just too much confusion in here, not for me. Moving over to copper, we have been consolidating in this range toward the bottom here. While it could break lower, seeing this rejection here, if we get enough of a pullback here and we start to see some strength come in, because on the 4-hour, we've broken this downtrend and could be heading higher. So that is something I am willing to take. But for me to get interested, I need to see it pull back a little bit further and then show some strength come in. I may not. It's actually unlikely that I'll get that opportunity today, but if it does present itself, that is something I would be willing to take to the long side. The euro here is something I wish I had been awake for around a few hours ago, because there was a setup that I was just not around for, shorter term play. But this break here on the shorter time frame, then selling in this supply here for a smaller move in the market made a lot of sense. I would not take it again if we come up here. We may bounce, but it's not for me at this point. The only way I'm going to be interested in selling again is if we come up here, make some higher highs, and then show weakness come back into the market. Looking at the yen, not clear enough for me, going to pass on that. And then Bitcoin, this is not a market I am trading anymore just because of the high commissions for day trading. Swing trading, however, it could make sense, but right now with where it's at, nothing clear. We are in a downtrend. We did move up into sell territory, so it made sense that we sold off a bit, but there's just this range that we're stuck in. People are confused. They don't know, is Bitcoin dead or is this pause to go lower? Just again, too much confusion to be argued either direction pretty easily still. One thing the bulls have in favor is that we did break this area here. It came into some significant demand. So one could argue if I was the buyer back here, would I be holding this? Absolutely would be holding this and just seeing what happens, because this is where you have your asymmetric returns. But that opportunity is missed. So if I did not get long here and we're sitting here now, not touching it, just going to have to wait and see, wait for another opportunity. So that's all the pre-market checklist for today, and check in later tonight when we'll see how the day played out.